downtown and observed an individual making suspicious behaviors outside a downtown business. Subsequent observations from when Officer Marston repositioned herself led her to believe that the individual was attempting to break and enter into the business. As such, CPO Marston radioed for assistance from the RCMP, who arrived and took the individual into custody, committing a break and enter. So good work by Officer Marston. Additionally, over at the RCMP, I'm both saddened but pleased to announce that Superintendent Sean Curry recently received a promotion and will be transferring to the position of Chief Superintendent at Western Alberta District Office, which is also in the city of Grande Prairie. But he will be the district officer for our region. That means that Inspector Peter King will be the interim superintendent while a job competition is held. And congratulations to Superintendent Curry. Additionally, one key initiative that rolled out yesterday, I believe it was, is the Community Safety Initiative that Council was informed of at the end of last year. So presently, there is a link on the website as well as a launch on social media to encourage members of the community to submit ideas that they feel will enhance community safety. Each submission will ultimately be reviewed by a cross-functional team of subject matter experts to assess the viability of the various ideas, with the results being shared with community members, the Municipal Police Advisory Committee, and ultimately Council yourselves. So we really want to encourage people to participate and submit their ideas via the city's new engagement platform, which I believe Director Trim will speak to shortly. And the initiative is, the first phase of the initiative is set to run from February 14th to March 14th. So exciting news regarding that.
Thank you very much for your report. I'm just going to go around the table here. Does anybody have any questions for Mr. Manuel? I see none, so thank you so much. And we'll move on to item 3.2, the Q4 update for community social development, Miss Angela Sutherland.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
For our quarter 4 report, a few highlights. So as council is aware, the Youth Advisory Council applicants are selected for the 2022 and 2023 term. So this is really exciting, and they were officially appointed by council in November. The city's equity, diversity, and inclusion update. In the last quarter, a total of 36 staff and all new city council members received the training. There's additionally training dates set for 2022, and our new course on racism and discrimination is ready for corporate web design and released to staff in March 2022. There has been an update on our Community Compass, local digital resource directory in December. So we currently have 723 listings representing over 2,000 unique services. At our Street Outreach Center, renovations were completed on the stairwells to bring it up to code, so the second floor can be accessible now for us to expand services. A few highlights around the critical issues. So CSC continues to backbone the support of the hotel isolation. So as council is aware, this is a provincially and federally funded program. And in the last quarter, it was utilized 19 times, with 80% of clients completing isolation. The update from the provincial government is that funding will extend till or end at the end of March. Along with the renovations of the Street Outreach Center, now the St. Lawrence Center is able to offer their mat spaces for the adults that's on the bottom floor there. Moving on to the some stats. There's some highlights here on our Housing First program. In terms of our Kiwu-Win eviction prevention program, there was a slight decrease in that. The report was there was less support or less calls for the program due to some SURF payments. And in our internal programs, the home support program has seen a slight uptick, which is really positive to hear that people are getting the support that they need. The local, our transit access program has seen an increase in passes as well, which is very positive. And you'll notice a bit of a drop in the recreation program, and I suspect that we'll have an increase in that once now the restrictions have lifted. There's a few additional stats there around seniors outreach and our bridge housing program. There's some additional community indicator reports that we add in. So I will, in terms of time, will not go through all of those. That's there for your reading pleasure. And I think that will be it for me at this point. I'll be open to any questions you may have.
Okay, thank you very much for the report. I'll just, I do have one person, Councillor Bosch.
Thank you, Councillor O'Toole. I guess my question is, and I probably just didn't hear it, you said the outreach second floor is available for use. When is it available? Now that the stairwells are done?
Yes, thank you for the question through the chair. At this point, as mentioned, the stairwells have been fixed, and so now we can have access to have services on the floor. We're just doing some minor renovations upstairs, and we hope to have a plan in place in the next couple of months there.
Who are you looking to move up there?
At this point, we're in discussions with Director Manuel on putting the mobile outreach program workers up there, as well as we're looking at utilizing one of the spaces for medical services. So we're in the process of planning for that. And then looking at options for a couple of the other spaces for service providers.
Perfect, thank you.
Okay, I have one question from Councillor Thiessen. Go ahead, Councillor Thiessen.
Thank you very much, Chair O'Toole, and thanks for the report, Ms. Sutherland. Just one question on the home support program. Through Q1 through Q4, it seems we went from 584 to 645. My question was, are those unique users or are those return users of the service, and we're just expanding the program by Q4?
It's not all unique users. It's people that we support throughout each quarter. In Q4, we supported 20 new client assessments.
Okay, no, that's great. Thank you very much. Perfect.
All right, any other individuals here at the table want to ask questions? I think you did really good today. Nobody's got any question for you. So we'll move on. Thank you so much. And we'll move on to 3.3 Q4 Update Enforcement Services. Mr. Ross Gear.
There we go.
Welcome.
Hit the button too many times. Good afternoon, everybody. You've all had the report, so I'll just hit some of the highlights. Enforcement Services is prepared to launch the Administrative Penalty Information System, known as APIS, that was set to take effect on February 1st, 2022. The necessary technology has been installed in the patrol vehicles to allow integration of this province-wide initiative. The province has delayed the rollout of APIS from February 1st, 2022 for an additional 90 to 120 days to communicate and consult with Albertans prior to the changes taking effect. Excuse me. Next highlight, 2 bylaw officers from Enforcement Service attended the Community Peace Officer Introduction Program held from November 1st, 2021 through December 21st, 2021, and graduated successfully. This forms an essential component of the department's commitment to promote staff development and bring enhanced skills to better serve the community. Recently, City Enforcement initiated a property agent program aimed at assisting businesses and schools with trespassing. There has been very positive feedback and buy-in from the community stakeholders. The program is off to a very positive start, And maybe I can just highlight there, I just went through the number of people and businesses that have been signed up. And to date, we have approximately 58 businesses, and the public school division has signed up all the schools. So off to a very positive start with this program. Winter enforcement operations include abandoned vehicles, efforts to clear abandoned vehicles off city streets through education and enforcement to facilitate ease of snow clearing operations by city plows. And we're committed to that. We want to help our good friends in transportation wherever we can. Sidewalk and ice clearing, educational opportunities within the community to get the message out to keep sidewalks clear. This is essential for pedestrians that may have mobility impairment issues. Traffic safety, continuing to focus on key factors that contribute to serious collisions, and they are speed, distracted driving, red lights, stop sign infractions, and other intersection-related offenses. And they continue, those offenses continue to be the biggest causational factor that we find for collisions. And school zones, continuing daily patrols within school zones and during peak hours to address concerns regarding unsafe driving habits and issues with illegal parking. We're committed to our schools, and we're going to stay there right until the end of the school year. So, the rest of it is some raw information that you can look at. So if you have any questions, that's the end of the report. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I have one person, Councillor Wendy Bosch, would like to ask a question.
Hello, thank you for your report. I just have one question. This property agent program for assisting businesses and schools with trespassing, can you explain what you do for these businesses?
Certainly, through the chair. Essentially what it is we've had an officer reach out to some businesses and also some businesses that have contacted us. And what happens is they will give us authority through a signed letter to act as an agent on behalf of their business. And that way, when there is a person trespassing or causing issues at their business, if there's nobody around from the business to represent the business, we can certainly act on their behalf and ask the trespasser to move along or the person loitering to move along and take action. We act on provincial law. It's the Petty Trespass Act and the Trespass to Premises Act. And in both those acts, there is a legal requirement that that a person needs to be told that they're trespassing, or either by sign or by letter or by verbally, and also that that the person responsible for the property must take action. However, there's a clause that the person responsible for the property or the owner can get an agent to act on their behalf. And basically, that is what we're doing, is we've become agent for these properties. We're trying to be proactive and solve trespassing issues and loitering issues before they become a big problem.
Well, thank you, Mr. Gear. And this is citywide, right?
This is through the chair, yes. This is citywide. Any business or basically anybody who's having issues with trespassing, loitering, that's impacting their community, they can sign up, and we'll certainly assist them wherever we can.
Perfect. I will do my part to get you more community stakeholders.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Ross. I don't think anybody's got any questions here, but thanks for the report, and stay safe, and we'll see you later.
Thank you.
Under 3.4, the Q4 update for the fire department, Fire Chief Preben Bosson. Good day, sir.
Good day, and thank you for the chair. So I will speak a little bit to the report that was issued as well. We are very excited about the opportunity to work alongside the County of Grande Prairie's Regional Fire Service and MD of Greenview in the development and use of the live fire training facility. In the past, we have struggled to maintain our skills in this area, and this will be a welcome addition to our local training facilities. This very much goes hand in hand with the recently approved mutual aid agreement. And I suspect we'll see other areas where we'll find efficiencies to be gained by working together. So we're very excited about this opportunity. As we move forward with the final stages of the computer-aided dispatch upgrade, we strive to maintain a very desirable dispatching service. We'll achieve this by delivering a professional service based on well-trained and proficient staff, up-to-date technology, and innovative ways to leverage the technology to our clients. We also working closely with our backup partners. We have agreements with Parkland and County of Strathcona to kind of work as a backup center for each other. So it's kind of a three-way agreement. So we're working on enhancing the reliability and enhance the backup capabilities to each other. This would then form a larger reliable network to our 911 callers and our dispatch clients, but thereby achieve more reliability in the system. And as you may be aware, we recently did cover County of Strathcona for about 3 hours when they had to close down their 911 center due to a COVID incident where they had to get the crew out of there and sanitize the center and then bring a new crew in. That's the first time we've actually covered for each other to that capacity. So it was great to know that the system does work, and we feel there are further enhancements we can gain by technology moving forward. I just want to touch a little bit on the Charity Foundation. So the charity is the Firefighters Charity group that do work on the side, independent from the fire department. They do gain sort of recognition by being firefighters, but all this work is done there on their own time. They raised over $60,000 last year, even with all the restrictions in place. So I just want to make sure we recognize them for all that great work they do. In terms of stats, I just want to touch a little bit on the 911 dispatchers. They continue to be very busy in the room. They answered over 76,000 calls last year. This trend is upward moving and has been so for the past many years. The fire department responded to a total of 3,602 incidents in 2021. This number is down from 3 years ago. And the main reason for that is we reviewed our medical response protocols, and we deemed it appropriate to go on less calls and drop some of the less serious medical calls. I anticipate we'll see the numbers kind of stabilize and probably move up from this point forward. So the blip in sort of the system in the numbers, you will, is from that adjustment we made to the medical calls. And that's all I have, but certainly open to questions. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much for your report and some pretty amazing statistics. I have two people in the queue. We're going to start off with Councillor Blackmore, and then we'll go to Grandberg. Councillor Grandberg. Go ahead.
Mr. Boson, I just wanted to congratulate your staff on the charitable donations that they've managed to raise over a really hard year to raise any money in at all. You've done a great job. And particularly as this is one of the few pots of money in the province, in the city, that individual people can access. They don't need a registered charitable number in order to draw funds from it. And so that makes it one of the most important pieces of nonprofit money in the city. And so congratulations on that hard work.
Thank you.
Councillor Berg.
Thank you, Councillor O'Toole. So, Mr. Boson, I'm looking at the statistics from 2019, monthly and year-to-date, for medical co-response and motor vehicle collisions, October, November, December. I notice a pattern there, and I know you just touched on medical co-response, I think, but I missed the point. So it looks like 2019 to 2020 dropped about in half, and now it's creeping back up. Is that just... Is there anything specific that you can put your finger on as to why those numbers dropped in half and are now creeping up?
Through the chair, I think during 2020 we saw the so-called lockdown, and we definitely noticed a drop in requests for service. So I anticipate that had something to do with it as well. And if you look at the medical call, we probably responded to out of all calls, probably about 2/3 were medical calls. So we really did drop quite a few calls, but we did that in consultation with EMS, and the calls we did drop were either calls we'd get canceled on, or typically really were not utilized at the scene. So I think sort of combination between the COVID and the medical calls is of the main reason why we saw the drop in calls. We have also noted a drop in motor vehicle collisions, and I anticipate that has to do with the work that our law enforcement is doing in trying to reduce the speed in some of the areas where we typically would find that we would respond to motor vehicle collisions. So I also anticipate that had an impact on the drop in numbers.
Great, thank you.
All right, Fire Chief Rebin, I think we're all done. Nobody else has any. Oh, I got one more. Mr. Thiessen, he's just flapping like a duck right now. Go ahead.
I feel about it as I feel like Max Headroom in the year 2000 right now, but it's all good. Video screen head here. Thanks for the report, Chief Boston. Thank you, Chair O'Toole, for recognizing me here on the call. I actually just wanted to make a comment. Councillor Blackmore took one of my compliments, I guess. I want to compliment you and the fire service. A great job working with the region and the community to find efficiencies and savings where you can in fire training and other services that we provide, not just here, but in other places around the region. So it's good to hear you're working with Strathcona County and those other fire departments. Also, I had it here, and I just wanted to say a big congratulations to the Charitable Foundation as well. Like Councillor Blackmore said, it's a tough year to raise money, and they raised a lot. And reading that last line of Sparky's secret wish of $500 in a frozen ham donated to 50 families just makes me smile, and so proud that our fire department could do that. So thank you to you and all your members, Chief Boston.
Thank you.
All right. I see no other questions, so thank you very much for your time. Sorry we had a delay getting you here today, but we had a very, very busy morning. So we'll move on to item 3.5, Q4 update for GPREP, and Ms. Jennifer Wood. Welcome.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm happy to give you a few highlights from the Q4 report. We've been doing a recruitment for municipal response team, and so that's municipal staff that have expressed an interest in being involved in GPREP response. So we have over 86 members now, and we will be doing some training and working with those individuals to bring them on to be part of the team. And so that just strengthens our ability to respond and strengthens our ability for how long we can respond. GPREP has been doing a little bit more of a formal process with stakeholder engagement. The agency has been inviting individual groups to attend their meetings to have a formal dialogue about what's going well, what we need to do to improve things. So we're really excited about that. We'll be continuing over this next year coming up. Sorry, I guess that's not a Q4 report, sorry. But we did have the first one in Q4 with the RCMP and Enforcement Services. And I had provided some statistics, but that is all quite different now as far as the changes to the PCR testing and case counts and whatnot. Dr. Hinshaw said we could only estimate that we were counting 1 in 10. So what those numbers really are, I don't know. I'm happy to take any questions that you might have.
All right, I'll look around the table. Any questions? I see none. Hey, you got off really lucky today. Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you.
And we'll move on to the Mobile Outreach Program. Chelsea Frizzell, welcome today.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Chair O'Toole. A few highlights for the Mobile Outreach Program. We do continue our downtown patrols, so regular measures are conducted in the downtown core and high traffic areas to engage the vulnerable population and connecting them to appropriate support. For our COVID-19 response, this was a partnership with Community Social Development, Northreach Society, to provide a safe place for individuals experiencing homelessness and exhibiting COVID-19 symptoms. In September, the province extended the program, and Mobile Outreach continued to support with client intakes, transportation, and working with partnering agencies until December 1st of 2021, when the program was transitioned over to Northreach with the support of CSD. Rough Sleeping Response, so this is a partnership between Enforcement Services, RCMP, and the Mobile Outreach Program. This is a proactive response that focuses on providing individuals with resources they need and suppress encampments. We did launch an app for internal use for gathering encampment data. It uses a survey to collect site risk assessments, reports on findings, and map site locations. This information is collected. It can be exported into a dashboard or spreadsheet to identify hotspots and trends to be able to assist in appropriate responses. For statistics, we did provide kind of a year of review for Q1 to Q4, and you will see an increase in calls for our Q4 calls for service, with a total of 6,616 calls for service for the entire year. And our dispatch calls was 1,856 calls for the Q4. We did have 71 new client engagements with the Mobile Outreach Program. 20 of those 71 individuals were unique individuals to the city of Grande Prairie. So new, ranging anywhere from 1 to 90 days to Grande Prairie. And of those 71 individuals, 17 of them have identified as new to homelessness. We did assist in helping 6 individuals relocate to their home communities where they have natural supports, and help connect them to community services as well. For encampments, we did have a lower number of encampments in the Q4, with 10 encampments being responded to and dismantled, and 9 individuals present and offered support to. And we picked up 67 needles safely off the streets of Grande Prairie. And then there, you'll see a breakdown, again, of just our calls for service, where they come from and where we're supporting clients. And with that, if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
I have one person in queue. That's Councillor Berg.
Yeah, thank you, Chair O'Toole. So my question, obviously, it was winter, October through December, and you mentioned, I believe it was 9 sleeping rough. With the services that we have with Wapiti House, Oasis, etc., have they identified why they're sleeping in the rough?
I think there is a variety of reasons. Oftentimes what is shared with us is that they feel safer sleeping on the street than they do in a shelter environment. We really do try to figure out alternative arrangements for them if shelter is not something that they're willing to consider at that time. So maybe it's staying with a family member. We're just really trying to engage them and try and get them out of sleeping in the cold.
Okay. Is that an implication that the shelters are not safe?
I believe it's individual perception of that, but that is what is being reported to us, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
I have Councillor Chris Thiessen wanting to ask you a question, Chelsea.
Thank you very much, Chairman O'Toole, and thanks for the report, Ms. Frizzell. I'm sure you never get tired of hearing compliments, but I love what the MOP team's doing, and many members and businesses and anyone living around that has ever used the service has high praise for it. So thank you for all that you do. I guess my question, and the only one I have on this, is around the rough sleeping app. So it says it's for internal use. I myself personally, I like to go off-trail hiking, and sometimes I find many encampments there. Can any members within the city of Grande Prairie use it, or is it officially for enforcement services, that app?
Thank you, through the chair. right now, it is a new app. As I said, we just launched it. So right now we're just trying to get a real good feel for the use of it and how we're going to use that data. So once we get more data input into that application, we were hoping to be able to provide it to other city departments, so enforcement services, the parks department, and things like that. But I think there would be really good opportunity to share that information, I guess, with other community members as well. But for the reporting and site risk assessment, it's more for a response, and then the data comes along with that.
Hey, thank you very much, and thanks again for all you do.
Thank you.
I'm going to give you a compliment too. I've used the mobile outreach program a couple of times to call people in to help distressed people, and very professional all the way through, from answering the phone to picking up the individuals. So thank you and your team. And with that, I see no other questions, and we'll move on to the next presentation by the RCMP, Mr. Sean Curry. And I want to congratulate you on the move across the river to another building.
Thank you, Chair O'Toole, Mayor Clayton, councillors, and colleagues. I'd like to thank Director O'Toole for advising everyone of my appointment as the new district officer for Western Alberta District. And I would also like to take the moment to thank the council and my colleagues here around the table. We've been very successful in piloting some new initiatives here, and that success would not have been possible without the support of the council. So I want to say thank you. You've certainly made my job a lot easier here. So I just wanted to put that out there. As part of the transition, I have asked Inspector King to come and present the quarterly report. As Director Manuel mentioned, he will be the acting officer in charge of the detachment during the transition, and I'll turn the floor over to him. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. So our Q4 stats, 2021 has been a challenging year for all of us with all facing the COVID challenges. One of the biggest challenges would be the amount of protests that we've managed through the mall, businesses, vehicles, and one particular one, the MLA's office and personal residence here. So they've been challenging for us to manage and resource heavy. But I also like to compliment and thank Director Manuel for his assistance with the MLA alerts protests. He was a crucial component to coming to a conclusion on that one. And also compliment Ross and his team, city enforcement, for the assistance with all the other vehicle controls and protests in malls. Q4 has seen a lot of interesting files. We've had a wide variety of drugs seized, weapons seized, warrants executed, and in particular, for reasons I can't explain, 2 peace officer impersonation files, which are very rare indeed. So I wanted to provide you some stats just so you could capture a good idea of the good work that the guys and gals are here doing at the office. Our crime reduction team has completed 202 curfew checks on our prolific offenders. Our downtown community engagement patrols, we've completed 115 foot patrols in the downtown. We completed 17 park patrols in conjunction with the mobile reach program, which was deemed to be very successful. And on that, I'd like to just share that we're going to be continuing with that UTV project for the next year. So we're excited about that. Regarding our communication, we've completed 215 media releases and completed a new monthly newsletter. So within 2021, we've had 22,521 calls for service. We've had 2,915 charges. 364 guns have been removed from the streets of Grande Prairie. 395 impaired drivers and roadside suspensions have been issued. And we've had to manage this workload with a record high amount of cadets, totaling 23 cadets this year. So kudos to the boys and girls down on the floor. They worked hard. They've pushed through the COVID. They've pushed through all the protests. And yeah, I'm really proud of the team that we have here and the work that they've done. Subject to any questions, go ahead.
I see no one has their hands up. But I do want to thank you and your staff, not only here in town, but through the province and all over Canada, for keeping your cool over these last couple of years, because it hasn't been that easy. And with that, I personally, myself, appreciate what you do. So with that, I see no other. Oh, I got Councillor Bosch.
Mr. Bosch. Awesome. Superintendent Curry and Inspector Peter King. I've worked with both of you in this past year and 2 years. So congratulations to you, Sean. And I'm not sure if I'll get to see you anymore, Peter. You might be busy doing, Sean's job. But thank you for all the new initiatives. And I have to tell you that it is making a difference. People are noticing outside of the handling of the criminal calls. You're engaging, you're getting to know who is out there, and these relationships, I think, are going to make a difference. So thank you, and good luck to you both.
Thank you very much.
All right, I have no other questions, so thank you for being here today. Once again, I apologize that we had a late start, but we had a very busy morning, and thank you for being able to fit into our schedule. All right, we have no items of correspondence. We have no other business. We have no bylaw policy review, outstanding items list. Mr. Manuel.
Yep, all the items remain on track with the current dates.
Okay. Was there a need to accept the reports as presented? Okay. So I'm looking for a motion to accept the outstanding items list.
I can do that, Chair O'Toole.
Thank you very much. That's a mobile motion. Thank you.
There it is.
Okay, thank you.
Motion.
Votes up.
Councillor Thiessen in favor.
There we go. Thank you. And that passes unanimously. And with that, this meeting is over. Give us about 5 minutes to get the system back in place, and we'll start off or finish off with the corporate services.
Thanks, everyone. I look